Amazon applies similar rules, fees, and policies to sellers in Canada and the United States. On paper, those rules look similar. Similar performance thresholds, similar inventory requirements, similar penalties. Yet the outcomes for sellers in these two countries are often very different. If you sell on Amazon Canada, type Canada in the comments. This video is for you. To understand the reason for this, let's look at some hypothetical situations. Imagine that there are two Amazon sellers. One operates in the United States, the other operates in Canada. They sell the same product at the same price. They use the same supplier. They follow the same Amazon rules. On paper, these businesses look identical, but within a few months, their results begin to diverge. The US seller has access to a much larger customer base. Orders come in steadily throughout the week. The Canadian seller sees demand too, but at a slower pace, because fewer buyers are searching at any given moment. This is where most Canadian sellers misdiagnose the problem, and the fix often makes it worse. Slower demand leads to slower inventory turnover. And slower turnover matters far more than most sellers realize. Amazon's systems are designed to optimize speed and efficiency. When inventory moves quickly, Amazon can distribute it across fulfillment centers close to customers. The algorithm looks favorably on a seller who is able to sell and replenish quickly. When inventory moves slowly, Amazon struggles to position it optimally. This is where identical rules begin producing different outcomes. Now let's say that the US seller sends 500 units into Amazon. Sales volume allows Amazon to spread those units across multiple fulfillment centers. Delivery remains fast. Conversion remains high. Sales continue steadily. The Canadian seller also sends 500 units, but with fewer fulfillment centers and slower regional demand, Amazon keeps inventory more concentrated. Delivery promises lengthen. Even a one-day difference in delivery time can reduce conversion. Conversion then drops slightly, which in turn slows sales further. This next part explains why the system feels stacked, even when no rules are being broken. Slower sales reinforce Amazon's assessment. Inventory is not distributed. Delivery speed remains slower. Conversion does not recover quickly. This creates a loop. The same rules are applied, but the Canadian seller enters a recovery cycle that lasts much longer. To fix the issue, the Canadian seller sends more inventory. This increases storage exposure. Capital that was invested into buying the products remains tied up longer. Demand does not suddenly accelerate just because more inventory is present. Now the seller faces a different risk: overstock penalties and long-term storage fees. The seller has done nothing wrong. The rules simply assume a faster-moving market. In large markets, scale reduces cost. Higher volume lowers shipping costs. Advertising becomes more efficient. Margins stabilize. In Canada, scale behaves differently. Volume grows more slowly. Costs decline more slowly. Scaling does not unlock the same efficiencies. Growth increases exposure before it improves resilience. If this has ever happened to you, you already know how long recovery really takes. Now imagine both sellers experience a return. The US seller absorbs the cost. It's offset by dozens of new orders the same week. The Canadian seller absorbs the same return cost, but there are fewer future orders to offset it. The financial impact is proportionally larger. Recovery takes longer. Advertising adds another layer. In smaller markets, organic visibility is harder to maintain. Ads are often required just to stay visible. Turning ads off reduces sales quickly. Keeping ads on compresses margins. The seller is forced into a trade-off. This leads to the most important structural difference. Under the same Amazon rules, Canadian sellers have less room for error. Small inefficiencies last longer. Mistakes cost more. Recovery takes more time. The system is not hostile, but it is optimized for scale and speed. At the end of the month, both sellers review their numbers. The US seller sees profit, even if margins are tight. The Canadian seller sees strong revenue, but limited profit. Fees, returns, advertising, and logistics have quietly consumed more than expected. Nothing dramatic happened. No single mistake explains it. The erosion was gradual. This is why revenue growth does not always mean business success, and why effort alone does not overcome structural limits. For Canadian sellers, understanding these differences is essential before scaling, investing more capital, or committing long-term to the platform. If this video explained something you couldn't put into words, hit the like button so YouTube shows this to other Canadian sellers. None of this means Canadian sellers cannot succeed. It means expectations must be different. Business decisions must account for market size, logistics, and recovery time. This channel exists to analyze these realities objectively. The goal is not to discourage sellers. The goal is clarity.